Patterson went for goal and scored! The former North Carolina Tar Heel on her old stomping grounds. Houston's grabbed the lead in the first minute.
What's up, H-Town and all around? You saw it right there, or you heard it right there. Patterson scoring less than a minute into the game. What a start, what a start. But this is the Dash Dispatch. And you know the voice, you know the mug, OSG. And you know the other side right there, Andres, the dynamic Foxtrot. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, pretty good. Avery Patterson scoring back in North Carolina, back at her home after missing some time. It put a smile on my face for a little bit.
Hey, yep. She's on limited minutes, so that's why she only played a half. But, we thought we were going to maybe try to go fight. You know what, people? We're just going to get straight right into it. Dash versus North Carolina Courage. We fall 2-1 to the Courage in North Carolina. The return of Fabrice Cutthroat to North Carolina Courage. And as you heard, Avery Patterson back to her state, where she was a Tar Heel. Maggie Graham was, what was she? Was she Duke? I don't even remember now. I think she was, right? She was Duke.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So everybody getting returned back to North Carolina. So good for them, having a good time, but it was not a good result, man. So as we talk about it every week, because it changes every week, is this the starting lineup? I was gonna say the stupid lineup. Maybe that's just how I felt when I saw this lineup, but the starting lineup. Well, the first thing that notices is after 5 games, Abby Smith has been put back on the bench and Jane Campbell gets a start again. So is Jane back? Woo, we don't know. But hey, Andres, you saw when Jane was listed as a starter over Abby Smith. What were your first initial thoughts?
At this point, surprised because Abby Smith has been putting some great shifts for the game she started. And I guess Jane Campbell had a good practice shift last week, so I guess she got the favor of starting here. And look, she's playing games and she's competing against Abby Smith, which is a net positive, all things considered. But yeah, just a little bit odd considering that Abby Smith has been playing in form right now.
Yeah, you said it. Fabrice is saying who's playing better at practice. Who looks better in practice is getting the start because, Abby hasn't done nothing wrong during games. Jane hasn't done nothing wrong during games. What did Jane do wrong at practice? What was the lack, or was she lacking, or was Abby given more? But Jane must have found it back now and is grooving again because she got to start. She did make 3 saves in this game. 3 of those saves were, Jane Campbell saves. They were also Abby Smith saves per save because they were saves keeper just made that were, spectacular. And you go back to remember these are the saves. Jane Campbell point blank shot right to the face. She makes the save, saves the game for the second at the moment that was at that time. But Jane Campbell is your starting keeper. Now we go into a break, so we're gonna have to relax for a while to find out who's going to be our next starting keeper because Jane is out of favor for the U.S. camp. So she'll be available for whatever we do during this NWSL break coming up that we'll talk about later. Also, starting lineup. No Katie Lynn on the back line. No Maggie Graham in the starting lineup. And you can put her anywhere on the field. So, to my surprise, Katie Lynn didn't get to start. Westfall's back to the start. Jacobs is in the middle. I have no problem with Jacobs being in the middle. I just thought there was a place for Katie Lynn to still be on the field. But maybe, that's something we've been talking about on recent shows where the defense has been lacking a little bit of something. And maybe it's Fabrice thought it was Katie Lynn that was lacking a little something to hold up the middle right there. And it's been missing that extra grit and that extra the violence in the middle that you need when you're a center back. Jacobs is a little more aggressive, I guess, than Katie Lynn, but she is, to tell you the truth. Jacobs is probably the best defender we have right now. But Katie Lynn not getting the start, that means it was Jacobs, Nielsen, and Westfall, playing, and then of course Patterson and Gary's as the wingers right there. So I was surprised. I was surprised at this one. I was kind of like disappointed, but I understood if you want to play Jacobs in the middle, who's going to play that left outsider a little bit? Can Katie Lynn be a little more agile and play that position or not? So, what did you think whenever you saw Katie Lynn was not starting and Westfall was on the left and Jacobs in the middle?
I was a little bit surprised considering that this is going to be the last game before a huge break coming up, and in darn near the points like we talked about in the last episode. I feel like we're going to be going all out for some way of getting a result out of North Carolina. And look, I was kind of surprised by the way they performed in the first half. It was a different story in the second half, which we're going to get into. But for the most part, I was surprised by the fact that Katie Lynn wasn't really available for this game. And I feel like her presence could have been felt in a different way.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens when we come back from the break and see who the starting lineup is, because I think this is the halfway point, and Fabrice can't BS around with can't play around with the lineup anymore when we come back from this break. Here at the midpoint, you're sitting 2 from the bottom. You're not far from the playoff line, but when you come back from break, it's going to be time to move with 13 games to go, because very quickly you fall into single digit games. Very quickly right there. Maggie Graham on the bench didn't come in till late in the game. Didn't make a difference there. Kind of surprised she's not getting the start, especially after her announcement we'll get into later. But and I'm okay with Maggie not starting, but I would expect her to get more minutes in the second half. There, I'm not. I don't have it up real quick, but how many minutes? When did she get subbed in there, Andres? I'd like to see more time with her, and there's quite a few.
Maggie Graham at 50 minutes. She was subbed in at 74th.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. So still good. All right. So that's okay. I take that back. Probably one that you could have started or not could have started. You have to figure out what you can do with her, where you can do with her. But, getting into the game itself, man. Avery Patterson, 53 seconds. The team moves down the field. She just makes the ball's crossed into the box. They're trying to clear it. She just makes an aggressive defensive move, and the defender kind of turns right into Patterson. Patterson wins the ball and is able to put the ball in the corner of the net. Bingo, bango. She celebrates. Even, I love the celebration too, because her hands were up in the air before that ball even made it into the net. She's like, that's in, yes. All the girls celebrate 52 seconds into the game, and you're like, yes, all right, man, all right. Now I'm really feeling good about this game. But Avery Patterson credit for putting in the pressure to get the goal, but it was a team effort to get the ball down there and even just had the ball in the box and come together. They had to win the ball a couple times. Patterson, with her fight, kept it alive one other time before that, and scored a goal. So good shout out to Avery Patterson. But now you're probably confident in your high hopes right now, or living high, 1-0, 53 seconds into the game, right, Andres?
Of course, confidence shot up 100% after that goal within the first minute. And look, I'm gonna give credit to Avery Patterson here. That was a pretty good goal, considering that she took the throw in, and a few seconds later she's like running inside the box and then took that shot. And it was gonna go to the far post, but it deflected into the opposite post, which again a good effort, all things considered, because the team were able to connect the passes, and Avery Patterson kind of did all the work with the run in between the defenders. And it was a pretty good goal. Third goal of the season. Absolutely well deserved. Like we said, coming out of the national team duty and an injury, 100% significant. And I'm looking forward to it. Her development over for the rest of the season. I'm excited.
And looking forward to what she's going to bring to this team, and hopefully another star, and see what we can do once we build a few more stars around here. Oh, Inter Miami scores a goal, and a defender pulls a flat tire pulls a flat tire trying to chase the striker down, but it's a 50-yard breakaway, easy goal. Inter Miami's up again in the FIFA Club World Cup. That's crazy. But back to Dash, because that's what's important. This is just fun watching good old soccer right there. But the game itself, after we score the goal, then the Dash kind of shut down. And you're like, hey, well, all right.
Yeah.
First half, Dash, here we go. We want to possess. We want to relax. We want to take it easy. And it was one of those games where it was 3 shots for both teams in the first half, and nothing was really of a threat. Nothing was really dangerous, and we made it to halftime 1-0. And then the second half start. I'm feeling really good, man. I'm feeling really good about the second half because this is a second half team. We always play up to tempo. We play better. We play better soccer when we're playing faster. And then whoop, it was the complete opposite. North Carolina was able to be the team that was the dominant team and the team that won the pressure, and the team that pushed the attack, and the team that was just dangerous. And then naturally, of course, we're just the team that wants to fall asleep on defense and oops again later, 2 times later. But man, frustrating. You're good the first half, hoping for the second half, and then the second half happens, bro. So tell me about it. You're like, as you're coming into the second half, your hopes have to be high, or your expectations have to be high. More not your hopes, because hoping the Dash win anyways. But your expectations have to be high based on the history of the way the Dash have played, even on the road too. So what happened?
I was fairly confident by the start of the second half, and still nervous because of how the Courage kept approaching the game, and they were getting most of the opportunities. And I was more so like, okay, we can definitely balance things out over time. This team have shown signs that they can build up over the course of the game, which is perfectly normal. And I feel like a lot of that game really got out of Hughes's control, like after Sarah Puntingham's second foul, which we can probably talk about right now. But I felt like initially it was more so I was trying to keep composure mentally, and it reminded me a lot of what you said in the last episode when it came to just the vision of the game and safety awareness for the most part, defensively speaking too.
Yeah, for real, for real. The red card, some will say, Fabrice didn't like the red card at all. It was obviously a second yellow that warranted the red card. I think what it was more at the time the referee just saw, the foul kind of ended off the field. So that's kind of deemed unnecessary foul pretty much. And, I kind of thought the same, why she foul her right there? And then, oh no, it's a second yellow. Crap. What the hell's going on? So unfortunate, because at that point in time, we were still winning the game 1-0. By the way, we mentioned A.B. Patterson limited on minutes. She was subbed at halftime for Alozie. So 45 minutes in is what her minutes are. And I think she mentioned it, where she's kind of limited right now with the everything and the small injury that she had. So expect her fullback whenever she does return back from the U.S. camp. But the red card put us in a hole, and then immediately, just our defense falls asleep and gives up a damn goal. It was freaking ridiculous. You're like, oh my God, not again. Who's watching who? Who's doing what? Stupid. And then 10 minutes later, do we forget it was
Yeah.
it's a cross from outside. Like, hello.
After Owen and a cross.
Yeah, falling asleep, man. Tell me about it. I'm gonna go to sleep right now. It was
Right.
insane watching that.
For me, it's more so going like obviously things got unbalanced for the Dash after the second yellow for Puntingham. And by the way, I 9 out of 10 referees are gonna put a second yellow on that because she essentially just throws her shoulder, her body out of the way, so to prevent the North Carolina player to like just go forward. And I felt like it was very selfish of her to do that, especially in a very critical part of the game where you're trying to contain things. There's 20 minutes left in the game, and you can still do damage. You can preserve the lead or at least get a result out of North Carolina. We are in a pretty bad situation in the standings, and you have to consider that. And extremely unfortunate that she, in her judgment, she had to throw her body like that because it looked pretty reckless. And I'm definitely okay with the second yellow here, and just really selfish out of that because the goals altogether were just like absolutely defensive miscues there, like kind of like what we saw last time against San Diego and a lot of the games this year where we are not really communicating with each other and we are just letting the other team do whatever they want. Like the first goal pissed me off because they literally just let a player walk inside the box to just pass it inside as well to like the 1-2 and just put it behind Jane Campbell. And the second one was worse because, like I just said, it was a throw-in and then a cross. And I don't know if it was Natalie Jacobs or Paige Nielsen. Like she had a player right in front of her, and they let her walk past her, like during the cross. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like we are obviously we're down a player, which is definitely a disadvantage. But at the same time, it's like we need a result right now. We have to put our X factor right now. We have to just be aware of what's going on because this is do or die essentially, and we get into the situation, and now look at that 2-1. North Carolina put the game away essentially.
You got to know who's marking who, especially in those situations. Like you said, it was throw into a cross, so not much time elapsed in between. So you're still pretty much in the same formation. You know who's where and who's what. And come on, even the ball's coming into the middle right there towards you. You should have reacted anyways, and neither one of them reacted on that second one on that cross. The first one after she dribbled all the way through, right before she made the pass to Shaw, who ended up finishing. I went back and I watched it a couple of times, and Westfall was playing the left back, right? Well, you see Westfall run away, and she wasn't really running away. She was running to the outside winger to guard the outside winger and cover that passing lane, but I guess didn't see Shaw sitting there in the middle, so basically that opened Shaw up to that right side, and then of course, she wasn't marked to begin with. But it was too easy for the dribbler to just drive down the field and go through three of our players and then just lay off. But I went back to watch, like, why was she open? Why was she open? Just to see what the defenders were doing. So, I'll go back and watch both those plays just to see for yourselves and see what we're talking about with the past previous episodes where the defense is lacking the communication, knowing who's supposed to be marking who, and just that soccer IQ is just missing a little bit. It's just the man, what the teamwork's just missing big time back there on the defensive line. But go back and check out the plays, blah, blah, blah. But I know the red card happened at 69 or 68 or whatever it was, but the substitutions still suck, especially when you made a couple of them late. Go ahead and read me the substitutions at what time they were made, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So you said initially Michelle to replace Henry Patterson at halftime. And first, Messiah Bright came in at the second minute for Ryan Gary's. Second one was Maggie Graham at the 74th minute for Sheehan. And Keegan Van Sant came in at the 83rd minute for Westfall.
That was the last one?
Yep.
Was Kiki for Westfall?
Yep.
All right, so Kiki for Westfall in the 83rd minute didn't make sense to me. I'm glad they made that sub because we did need the attacker. Probably should have been done earlier than that. Well, I guess that's when we were down 2-1. Was at the 81st, and then they get up. Kiki, you're going in. Get this game tied back. So, all right, I get that one, but man, Maggie 74. I don't know. Maybe should have came in a little early. Who knows? I don't know. Were substitutions used okay this time, or did the red card just interfere too much? Is there really nothing to complain about this game? About the substitution?
There's always a lot to complain, and look, I know that getting a player sent off with 20 minutes to go, it's a little bit of an issue, especially with the game plan you want to approach this game. And I feel like for this type of situation, we needed more veteran presence in Puttingham's positioning. I was more so looking into potentially seeing Sophie Schmidt coming in for someone else, in the middle of the park. to like try and contain things, because as we saw, especially defensively speaking, just having like a body that knows about the game more, reciting that spatial awareness to just stay back and try to like avoid all these opportunities coming in and out of Houston's half. It could have made a difference. I was expecting her to see her play because of that reason, but we are only 4 subs. It's kind of disappointing because I felt like you could have probably used another one, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely could have used another one, even though the red card sucked. But yeah, you could have put in Rebecca. But you're still trying to win the game, so whatever. But all right, so we go down 2-1. You heard it here. What are we? 3-8-2 at the halfway mark. 3 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws at the halfway mark. Going in with 11 points. 11 points out of 13 games, which is obviously less than 1 point. So that sucks. So after we come back from this break, we got some work to do, and we got to get into the 20s over there with some more points and try to get into that playoff run. But thank God the halfway point is here, man. So, Andres, first, what do the Dash focus on primarily during this break? Training will still exist.
Well, for starters, it's the good news is that at least I get some practice with Monterrey about to play them as a scrimmage, you could say.
Yeah.
It's definitely ideal to have a game changer brought onto this club at some point immediately, because it's not looking good in the standings. We've only won once in the last 7 games, and the gap to the playoff spot is now 7 points. So you kind of have to win games now. You kind of have to find a spark to kind of like what we talked the last time. We need to find some sort of spark, some sort of morale booster that can just like be injected into this team and be like, guys, we are letting the pack get away from us, the playoff pack, and we've already wasted so many opportunities to get points and home and away, and they have to find something different. Of course, it has to go down to Fabrice Cotrot and the game plan that he has been approaching for this season. We've been very hopeful, we've been very optimistic, and now it's crunch time. If they cannot afford to lose another game, if they can tie it from here till the end of the season, it could be like a different story, but it still be results over wins, over losses, sorry. And we, us as fans and people that just watch the league all together, like, we're under the impression that this team is essentially dead until they can find like a different way to refresh themselves for like the whole month ahead. Because the good news is that it's literally a month long break. So it could just be it's a good time to regroup. It's a good time to talk out things through, what's wrong, what are the benefits or like the silver lining so far. And there's a few, like there's a lot of players that have been performing very well that they could capitalize on over the course of what's remaining of the season. But again, we need a spark right now. We need some sort of reinforcement that can just able to revolutionize this team, hopefully. But it's looking pretty grim right now, and I'm fairly optimistic about things, you know?
We definitely need that striker, that playmaker, that game difference maker. Definitely need that right there up top. That's going to be a big difference. Does that get us over the top and make us an NWSL contender? Obviously not. We did that relies on the rest of the team to focus around that other female player to become the team that we all can expect and we all can see. We just need that 11th piece is what it looks like, you know. Got to find that 11th piece, that striker. Also, you know, it reminds me back to the days whenever I was coaching my girls team. And we were struggling, man. We were struggling. It was still kind of just, the team was just moved and we were kind of going through some things and we putting the team together. And wasn't sure what I had, so we started with a 4-5-1, so we were playing, more defensive because, like I said, I wasn't sure what we had and how we were working it out. And started our season, and man, we couldn't win nothing. We couldn't win nothing, and we said, all right. This one girl ended up quitting, ended up leaving, and so I was like, you know what? Let's do something different. I completely changed the formation and went to a 4-3-3 and really pushed my girls high and really pushed them into an attacking style formation and took them out of that defensive rut where they're sitting back and letting the game come to them. They took the game to their opponent, and we turned it around and made a friggin' run to the state. Ended up winning state just because same players, just changed our tactics and changed our style. So something that Fabrice could be looking at, something he could be thinking about. It's you don't play just one formation anyway. So hey, let's defensive. Let's turn it down to one. If we want to play three, let's play like this. And the style can change immediately in the game at any moment in the game, and your formation and the girls are used to it and know it. So I don't know. Maybe we could push a little more attack and not be so defensive minded and put a little more pressure on our opponents. So I agree with everything you said. Uh, so a lot to work on this month, and we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes before we come back. But as we move on, NWSL Roundup, as we said last game of the midway point. Run through the scores real quick. There's a couple surprises in there for you as well. Racing Louisville at home defeated Orlando 2-1. So right off the bat on Friday night, that was our first game of the weekend. Orlando goes down. And I'm like, yeah, and,
Yep.
taking the glasses off doesn't make it see better, but I was like, yeah, what the heck? Kansas City only beat Angel City 1-0. So I was kind of surprised by that score. But KC with the wins to hold up to 1. So they're the shield leaders right now. Seattle Reign went to Utah 1-4-1. Gotham hosted Bay 1-2-1. North Carolina, of course, Houston. Portland beat Chicago 1-0. So Portland gains another win. Chicago sucks as well as we do. And San Diego and Washington, number 3 and number 14, fight to a draw to go to break. So 0-0 right there. But that puts us at the break. 13 games into the season. Kansas City's still up top as I'm now looking at the standings. Orlando Pride is in second, but KC's got an 8-point gap now between first and second. So they're just running away with it. They've won at least
They're
5
gonna do it
straight.
again.
Yeah, man, it's nuts. But we'll see what the second half brings you, right? Some of these teams might improve in that summer window that we're talking about as well. But Orlando Pride has lost 2 of their last 5. So that's the big difference right there, while Kansas City's won 5 of their last 5. San Diego Wave hosts third with 24. Washington's fourth with 23. Portland moved up to fifth with 22, so won. Second place is 25 points. And then you go all the way down to seventh place is 20 points, and they're all 1 point difference from second to seventh place. Eighth place, Gotham is 18 points with North Carolina Courage, 18 points. Both tied for eighth place, but Gotham's got the edge on differential or whatever right there. And then, you see us down there sitting in 12th. But when you're looking at the standings, the ones I'm looking at, it shows your your last 5 matches. 11, 12, 13, 14, Angel City, Houston, Chicago, Utah. Each team does have a draw, but there's a lot of red sitting right there in their games. So the bottom of the NWSL looks pretty horrible right now, and these teams are getting beat up. Angel City getting beat up as of recent, not the whole season, like the Dash, and then Chicago with 6 stars. Yeah, they only have 6 stars. They don't play with 11 stars on their team, so they've got 6 points, and Utah with only 5 points. So, there is at least somebody worse than the Houston Dash, but at the midway point, Andres, we are sitting in 12th. You kind of say what Fabrice needs to do. So you also mentioned, you said 7 points. You have 7 points behind Gotham in North Carolina. So not only you got to get 7 points to get to 8th, you got to pass 2 teams to take over 8th. So plus the others in the way, which is only Angel City and Bay. So you can do that because when we return back to play, it'll be against Bay FC in Bay on the road in a month from now. So hopefully we can get that back. As you also mentioned earlier, we have a game on Tuesday July, whatever the hell it is coming up, 8th, July 8th, on a Tuesday night, 7:30 at Shell against Rayados Monterrey. So that'll be a fun game. Hopefully, maybe I can make it in for that one and just take the day off. We'll see whatever kind of days off I got to take around that too as well. That'll be a fun game. We'll see who we're missing with international duty right there, but we'll see what Fabrice is working on. It's only been a week too as well. Whenever we do get to play that game, but Andres, midway point, bro, midway point. Anything stand out with you in the standings, or as we made it through 13 weeks in the season? Anything stood out in the first half for you?
Well, aside from us being the gap between the playoffs not increasing, like I said, it's more so like I feel like with the way the season's trending, it could look a little bit worse because more teams could get more points in the middle of the pack, which it could be a good thing for us. It could be a bad thing considering that it could close the gap, it could widen the gap, but eventually it's going to depend on how Houston performs. And every time I said we need all the points now, that means we need all the points right now because we lost so many this season in ways that I'm not proud of, and a lot of people will say the same. And it's crunch time literally after this month, so it's that. And yeah, like I said initially, Kansas City Current is running away with it.
Running.
It's like I want to be like that. I want that. Come on, I need that.
They're to winging it away with it. Winging
Literally.
away with it. Yeah.
To winging it.
It's that's just insane. They're running 8 points ahead at the midway point. So somebody's got to beat them up. I think we still have one of our matches against them. Of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. But all right, man. Well, we moving on. We do have international duty ourselves for some players on the team. It was 8 last time everybody was called up into service. This time it's not so many, but we're going to start with your favorite doll. It's going to be Barb Oliveri. She is going to go play in the Copa America. I'll let you say it. The Feminati? The Feminal?
Feminine, yep.
Yeah. So they're heading to Ecuador. So it looks like that'll be a tournament that she'll get to play in. So she'll be gone the entire month playing in that one. Good luck to her. Rooting her on. I know you'll be rooting. I'm sure you'll probably try to watch if you can, I bet, right?
Yes. And I was checking it right now, but I'll confirm the streaming info in just a bit.
Okay. So good luck to her. Rooting on for Venezuela. Y'all check it out in the Copa America. All right, so Yasmin Ryan and A.V. Patterson. Notice Jane Campbell's not mentioned there, but Yasmin Ryan and A.V. Patterson has been called up for the next two camps, and they're going to face Ireland twice. And who was the third one? Who's the third team they're going to play? Oh yeah, Canada, and they're going to play Canada once. So those will be good, fun games for those girls to get involved in, and that's a long camp too as well. Same time, Maggie Graham has been called into the U23 camp. So this will be her first time with the U23 camp. She is familiar with the U.S. Women's National Youth Team at the U16s and U18s. The U23s will also be practicing concurrent to the first team. So basically, Avery Patterson, Yasmin Ryan, and Maggie Graham all called up. They'll play in different games, obviously, but Maggie Graham, if the U23s do get to play in any game, but it looks like they'll do their training in Colorado as well and run concurrent. So it looks like they're who knows who they're playing. They'll probably be playing against Ireland as well, against the younger team or the substitutions or something. So interested, follow along there. Moving along, Nigeria, Michelle Alozia. So this is going to be the WAFCON Cup for the women. I think the males is going to be going on as well too next month. But they're looking for their 10th title for Nigeria. So Alozia will be involved with that team. And, from us talking about adding players, maybe she could talk to Rashida while she's there and try to convince her to come to Houston. and tell her you're just the missing piece we need. Please help me, girl. I'll be there behind you. I'll be there next to you. Well, we're gonna score some goals together. But so we'll look forward to that. So there's some good games to watch as we follow our Dash players in the month while they're not here, not playing, and we try to cover and keep some news involved for you during this off time and give you a reason to listen to the show as well during this break. So, Andres, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was gonna say that the Copa America Femenina is gonna be on Fox Sports in between channels 1 and 2. In case you guys are interested, so it should be a fun tournament. It's always a toss up, which is always more entertaining. So it's gonna be a good tournament. I'm gonna be nervous as always.
Because you know how Barb plays, so she's going to be susceptible to some fouls, and this is some international duty and some real games, and she's the main piece of that team as well. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to her. Good luck to that. Good luck to all the girls that are getting their call ups and their duty. We'll see if anybody else gets called up for any other age groups as we hear about them. We'll let you know. But otherwise, man, what else do we got? You know, the summer, like I said, the summer window's coming up. We still want Kat Macaro. I want Rashida, but who knows what's going to happen? As you know, maybe as during this break, we're going to try to focus on making that happen and seeing what Angela and Jessica are out there looking for and what they're doing, and see if there are see where their eyes are peeping, and if this player, one or two players that are coming in during this during this summer window, are they going to be playmakers, or are they just going to be additions to the bench, or just depth to the bench, or whatever? So we'll see, man. Andreas' summer transfer window. We got our favorites. You mentioned Mitch Purge last week as well. So we got our eyes out looking out there, but you know, summer window wish list, man. I don't have anybody new this week. I didn't ask you if you did prior to the show. Anybody you name you want to shout out right there? I did have a name, but I'll let her be. I'm going to do some more research on her. Maybe I'll bring her up next week. But what you got for that summer transfer window or trade or loan wish list?
Man, honestly, I don't have any new names, but the one thing I'm gonna ask for the most always at this point is gonna be a game changer. Only because, like I just said just now, it's more so we need new blood, we need new energy, we need something new to push this team forward, because this team needs it. If it's someone like Kat Macario, like my top of my wishes right now, amazing. But it's gonna take a lot to do that. And can this team surprise us? We don't know. Is Tim Howard gonna come out and help out Angela here? I don't know. It's a lot of questions, and also as Dash fans, we are accustomed to pain at this point. So it's more so like we have to see it to believe it. And I hope they get someone big that's just gonna be turning heads around the league, because this team needs it. So it's more so of the fact that they have to show us now that they're capable of doing so, and that they're willing to turn things around, because it's not looking good in this rebuild led by Fabrice.
Rebuild. Hate hearing that every single friggin' year, man.
I said the R word.
Yeah, it right now it's okay. Just we understand that Fabrice is testing everything, basically. Testing everything out and looking at everything out. Now, the testing can't continue after the break, is what we've said and what we definitely declared. Hell yeah, Messi just got a yellow card. I like to see that. Right before halftime, too. This referee said, no, yellow card. You fouled that guy. All right, that's fun. But, so everything he's been testing, is time to put in the market now. Time to put in the market when we come back from this break. You got one more test with Rayados of Monterrey, and I would expect there's probably going to be another one that'll be announced, another game announced in there somewhere with somebody we pick up Who knows if there's even one in the works? But I would imagine there's something. We're not going to take that long of a break and not do nothing but just practice. So maybe we'll play an academy team. Hopefully, we can get our ears on it and maybe get some video of it too if something happens. But I don't know. So, anything else that's going on? We got the Dash Dispatch, the written version coming out here pretty soon as well. So I hope y'all get to check that out. Obviously, you'll
Yeah.
see it whenever we share it. So that'll be weekly as well. So any information that went through with the Dash during that week or the week of is going to be in that Dash Dispatch. And then, of course, don't forget us right here on the show, where you get a little bit different. We dive into a deeper detail and give our personal opinions and our thoughts about the games itself, and then what's coming up soon. So, Andres, man, I think that's it for today. You want to blow the shows up, give a shout out to anything, tell the people about anything coming up, if there is anything coming up for us, and let's let the people go on a short one this week.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to everyone that's listening, and honestly, shout out to all the Dash fans because we have endured so much, and there's always very little return to us. It's painful. I get it. It's just like a lot of commitment, a lot of time spent watching this team and analyzing it and seeing what's needed, and of course, most importantly, just being fans of women's soccer, which is it's on the rise right now. And I'm kind of saying a long time ago, it kind of sucks that when it comes to women's soccer in this country, at the professional level, everything is rising up, and we are still stuck in this limbo of like, oh, still got a new front office, which is great. We have like a dedicated president of women's soccer, which is amazing, and just putting a lot of investment when it comes to that side. But on the field, still get the same pain, still kind of the same results we've been seeing. And look, kind of like last year, it seems like still an improvement over last year, but we still have to see consistent results. We still have to see a winning team. We still have to see a playoff team, a consistent playoff team. And all these things obviously comes down with investment. It comes down with commitment to the project, time. It doesn't really happen within a season. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the Dash fans because we've been sticking it out for them, and we've been showing out a lot of commitment from this team. And I hope they show us some love back somehow, other than that, signing autographs and all that. So shout out to everyone that's listening, and really all the Dash fans out there. And of course, we'll be here saying it like it is, and at all the bad moments and hopefully good moments in the future. But we'll be here no matter what. So that's Dispatch, like OC just said, working on the written version, which will be uploaded in our Substack, basically whenever you get Fox in the Box. It's going to be posted there in the future. So keep an eye on that, subscribe. The link to our Substack is going to be on my profile page. So you can either just read it from Substack or subscribe so it can be sent to your inbox as it's posted. So check it out as soon as it goes live. Also, wherever you are listening, at all podcast platforms, just look up Real Time. We're going to be there posting all of our Dash Dispatches. And whatever you're watching, probably the best way to watch is going to be Foxtrot TV on YouTube. Just look up Foxtrot TV on the search bar, and you're going to see all of our Dash Dispatch episodes, Real Time, everything that we put out on video form. You're going to see it there. And also Goals TV, another good platform to check out other soccer content creators like us. I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out. We've been posting most of the women's soccer content there, and we like doing it. So just support us if you haven't already checked it out. It's spelled Goals with a Z, so golz.tv/@dynamicfoxtrot. That's our profile. But check out that platform if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. And yeah, it's gonna be a long break. hopefully we'll get to speak more about the Dash, depending if we get to see the Monterey game or if there's news. I hope there's news to talk about because the team needs a lot right now, and obviously with the transfer window coming up, about to open up as well, we should be getting some news. I hope so. But yeah, it's kind of been a short one, man. I'm used to like going over an hour, but here we are in the 40-minute mark.
Hey, and I'm sure the people won't mind it either. The little short episode that we after coming off a loss, they're probably ready for the break as well. So we'll give them the break. I mean, we're not going to go nowhere during the break. It just you might get some short ones during the break as well, as we have to try to find some information to report about, or we, we'll have to do our part and just make the show interesting when there is nothing interesting to talk about out there.
Yep.
Not expecting anything to happen with the Dash. The Monterey game is not until 2 Dash episodes away. So you won't hear talk. We can probably preview that game a little bit before the next show, obviously, because I guess our show will release the morning of that game. The second show actually will release the morning of that game. So maybe if 5 people just comment on YouTube or whatever platform, this is going to be on you, Andres, to check the comments in those platforms. But if 5 people tell me to drive to Houston on Tuesday, July 8th, to go watch the Monterey versus Dash game, I'll go cover it. I'll take the day off. I'll go cover it, and I'll go to Houston and report the game and give y'all a Foxtrot game day from Houston. So y'all got to do y'all's work to get me there. Otherwise, I'm just going to work my day and then watch the game on TV that night. We'll talk about it later. But we got all our socials, of course, on Twitter or X, on Instagram. I believe Dynamic Foxtrot is also on Threads. He already mentioned Foxtrot TV, so you know where to find us.
Yeah.
Comment, talk to us. I got to get better at interacting better on Twitter whenever y'all comment. So just comment, say hello. Also, Dash and Chata, if you want to come to the Discord, there's a few of us in there. We do talk about the games primarily, obviously. During the week, it's a little more quieter, which you might like. It's not like Facebook where it's crazy and all over the place, but it's chill. So if you want the link, hit me up or hit Andreas up. We'll get the link to Dash and Chata. Say hello to Old Soccer Guy when you get into Hinchada, so I can get you into Dash and Chata, because it's a private channel. So I have to say hello so I can let you in. The door's locked. But otherwise, Andres, anything else before you take us out and get that close ready?
Man, I'm ready to go beyond mediocrity, man. I want to go beyond that. I want the Dash to just be good.
Well, you heard it right there. He said it. I am OSG. That's Dynamic Foxtrot. You've been listening to the Dash Dispatch. And as we like to say it, we'll see you next time. H is up.
Full time! North Carolina concede in the first minute, but it's Bedford and it's Shaw. And it's a courage win.